Hi everybody, Mr. Volpe here, ready for a great fall term. So, welcome Sonoraville High School to our English 1101 Composition and Rhetoric class. So, I'm going to try to make this video as efficient and to the point as possible. Basically, if I had to reduce it down and give you a single sentence or a few words on what this class is all about, it's about making a point and supporting it in a sensible, logical, convincing way, okay? And we're going to go through the term in what we're going to call modes of discourse, okay? How do you engage an audience? How do you get that audience to see things from the perspective you're trying to convince them to adopt, okay? So we have 4 modes of discourse that we are going to devote essays to. The first is going to be a narrative essay. That's mode of discourse number 1, narrative writing, about telling a story. And this is the first one we're going to do. In fact, yours is going to be due in about 2 weeks on the, not this coming Sunday, but the one following it, which I believe is the 30th. Okay, we'll get there when we get there. But narrative writing, a story, this is about, usually students like to tell stories about themselves, about a relative of theirs, a friend, someone like that. And why, ask yourself, why do we tell stories? Well, stories are how we communicate with one another and how we make sense of our world. We do it through stories. Think of all the myths and legends and Harry Potter is a tale as old as time, the chosen one. Think of Star Wars, the chosen one, Luke Skywalker, okay? These characters pop up time and time and time again. Now, when you all write your narrative, I don't want a fictional account. I do want a non-fictional account, meaning a true story, or at least to me, I need to understand it as a true story, okay? So you could refer to yourself, you could talk about yourself, talk about others with whom you are interacting in your day-to-day life. But the story, the topic is a particularly life-changing moment, okay? And this is going to be 2 pages, okay? Our essays in the first half of the term, the first quarter, are going to be about 2 to 3 pages. When we get to the second quarter, the second part of the term, you all are going to go back to those essays and add to them, okay? So we're looking at 2 to 3 pages, and then in the second quarter, we're going to go to, say, 3 to 4 pages, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to write our narrative, our descriptive, our argumentative persuasive, our research essay, okay? And then the second half, we're going to edit them, revise them, and build on them, okay? That's kind of how the course is going to work, okay? So that's kind of the big, large, global perspective of the course, okay? Now, in terms of operating within the course, you're in Blackboard, okay? Go to our course, and you're going to see on the left-hand side, when you're facing the screen, a series of options, buttons, okay? You're going to find all the things that we have to do on a week-by-week basis in the Lessons tab, third from the top. So if you click Lessons, you'll see various attachments and folders, okay? Go ahead, read the syllabus, the first thing, the first item at the top, read it carefully, netiquette, ground rules. Underneath that, it's how we conduct ourselves in class, treating each other with respect as adults, civilly, and addressing each other as such. You see a paper format attachment under that. Blogs, journals, we won't worry about that, at least not for this first part of the term. We'll start getting into blog writing and journal writing. Underneath that, you see the folder titled Video Archive. I used to archive these weekly videos, which you all will see at the beginning of each week, in that folder. But now what I've asked you to do is just subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mr. Volpe's Lecture Videos, and you'll see each of them there. Yours will be SHS Week whatever, okay? That is how you will know that it is for you, okay? It'll be the most recent video, okay? And then your actual work begins in the shell folders. So you see shell 1 is weeks 1 through 2. So if you click shell 1, you'll see the week 1 and week 2 folder. Of course, we are in week 1, so click the week 1 folder. You'll see the assignments for this week. 3 assignments. The first assignment is a no-show discussion board. So the college, Georgia Northwestern, which is in partnership with the high school, getting you all college ready, GNTC requires us to have a no-show assignment whereby you all do the assignment, and that lets the instructors know that you are present and participating in the first week of class. And we won't therefore issue you a no-show, meaning you're not active in the class. Let's strike you from the roll, okay? So if you want to be regarded as participating and active in the class, complete the no-show assignment. And it asks you to read an article. The article is by a journalist, Matt Taibbi. He typically writes for Rolling Stone. And this article is about cancel culture. I don't know if you all have heard of that phenomenon that has gained traction in the last year or so. It's the idea of someone saying something objectionable and then the online Twitter mob coming after them and canceling them. Recently, J.K. Rowling of Harry Potter fame said something controversial. I won't get into it. And she was #canceled. Okay. So read Mr. Taibbi's piece here on cancel culture. Okay. Really what it is, it's addressing the fact that some people out there in society don't think this cancel culture thing is a real thing. And his point, well, you all will tell me what his point is. That's kind of giving the answer for you there. In any case, after you read the article, you see what you have to do. 3 points. Number 1, stating what you believe his thesis statement is. A thesis statement is a statement of the author's main idea. It is what he or she is writing about, the point he or she is trying to get across to you, the reader, the member of the audience. So what do you believe his thesis statement is? And I mean a statement, like a sentence. So a thesis statement isn't going to be several sentences, certainly not a paragraph. It's going to be a statement. And a statement, not a question, a statement, okay? So what do you think it is? Is it explicit, meaning does he say it outright? Does he say his point outright, clearly, obviously? Or is it an implicit thesis statement, meaning is it suggested? And then you have to kind of deduce, infer what it is, okay? He kind of suggests what he means. Maybe he doesn't say it outright, okay? So which is it? You identify the thesis, state whether it's explicit or implicit. Number 2, provide 3 supporting details that the writer uses in defense of his thesis statement. Number 3, whether you agree or disagree with his argument, his point, okay? And tell me why you do or don't agree with him. And finally, for discussion forums, to get full credit, you have to give your post, so you have to do 1, 2, and 3, but that's not it. That's an incomplete if you just do that. You also have to respond to at least one other participant's post. Now, if you do that and your posts are substantive, okay, meaning it's evident from reading your post that you've read the article, okay, you'll get full credit. If you just try to talk in circles or you're BSing or something like that, it'll be obvious, okay, and you will not get full credit, okay? But complete that no-show assignment. That's item number 1. It'll count as a homework score. Look at what your homework, class and homework is percentage-wise in terms of your total grade in the syllabus. Class homework assignment number 2 for the week, George Orwell shooting an elephant, okay? You will find that in the left-hand column of the main page, the 1101 reader, okay? We have essays that we read, and we use the reader to read these essays. So our narratives this week are Orwell shooting an elephant, and then Bonnie Smith Yackel's My Mother Never Worked, okay? Read the 2 essays, the 2 narrative essays, and there is linked there a discussion question assignment, or you guys have 2 questions to answer, and I think I ask you to write a paragraph or so. And these questions don't ask for you all to make specific reference to the George Orwell and Bonnie Smith Yackle pieces, but I want you to. So when I read your responses for these discussion questions, it needs to be evident to me that you have read the two narratives, okay? So you must make mention of those two narratives when you're writing your responses, okay? So use textual evidence, cite using paraphrasing or a direct quote. You don't need to give me a works cited page for this. If you do, that's good practice. We'll worry about that later on. So that's item number 2, reading the two narrative essays and answering the discussion questions in the 1101 reader, okay? And finally, item number 3, you'll see another item on the left-hand side of the main page, the textbook. Okay, the textbook for our class is called Successful College Composition, I believe is what it's called. And I abbreviate it as SCC, okay? And I abbreviate the 1101 reader as the reader, okay? So you guys will see SCC and reader throughout. SCC referring to the textbook, reader referring to the reader, okay? So we are in the narrative section in SCC as well. So it's going to be Chapter 3, Part 1, Exercises 2 and 3. Now there's an Exercise 1. You don't have to do Exercise 1. You could do that on your own. You might want to. But exercises 2 and 3, I do want you to do and submit it to me, okay? Now you'll notice in the essays that I ask you to read and write responses to, and the SCC narrative exercises, it asks you to kind of start building a story, okay? So you might use one of these as the building block of your narrative essay, which is going to be due, remember, the 30th. August 30th, the Sunday, in a couple of weeks, okay? So you might very well find that you are practicing for your own narrative essay, okay? And remember that narrative essay, again, due in 2 weeks. The topic is an especially life-changing moment, okay? We'll talk more about it next week. If you all want to get in touch with me this week via email and kind of run a topic by me, hey, I'd like to write my narrative essay on that time X, Y, and Z, okay? Feel free to do so. Okay, so I want to keep it as short and sweet as I can. 3 items on the agenda this week, going into lessons, Shell 1, Weeks 1 and 2, Week 1, the no-show discussion forum, the George Orwell and Bonnie Smith Yackle essays to which you need to write responses. You'll see the discussion question link there. And then finally, SCC Chapter 3, Part 1, the narrative section, exercises 2 and 3, okay? So that is what is on offer for the week. Again, we're going to have these videos rolled out at the beginning of each week. There's also an announcement at the beginning of each week. It's kind of a companion to these videos. So read each week's announcement, watch each week's video to know what's going on. And I'm going to send the announcement and the video to Miss Claudel, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name, at the school, so she too will know what you guys are doing, okay? So we're all on the same page during these very topsy-turvy, interesting COVID times, okay? I hope you all are staying safe, happy, and healthy out there. Mr. Volpe here, happy to be with you all this term. Let's make it a good one. And I will talk to you again with another one of these at the start of next week. Good luck. Let's get it. Peace.